5 skills that according to Naval can make you rich. Wanna know them? Keep watching this video. Hi everyone, my name is Shaibal Mitra and today I'll be discussing about something that everyone wants to know. How to be rich. Well, relax cause I'm not gonna talk about the same shit like read more books, wake up early, invest money in stock market, and I don't know many more things like that which we all have seen many times on the internet before. Instead, today I'll try to decode Naval's 3.5-hour long podcast where he discussed how to get rich. If you don't know who Naval Ravikant is, well, let me tell you, he is kind of a big deal. He is the founder of AngelList and an early stage investor in companies like Twitter and Uber. I think he is one of the most reliable person on the internet to get knowledge about business and money making. So let's just try to understand what he has discussed in the podcast. It all started from one of Naval's Twitter thread questioning something like how to get rich without getting lucky, which went massively viral on Twitter. People from every walk of life loved that. And then finally, Naval decided to record this podcast where he discussed all the tweets from this Twitter storm and some additional tweets that can't able to take place on that Twitter thread. I had to listen to it completely 3 times before I understand what he wanted to say. He mainly told about the skill set of the rich, how they think, how they act, or how they take any decisions. He has told about the 5 skill set that every rich people or people who wanted to be rich have. Those skills are leverage, specific knowledge, accountability, judgment, and lifelong learning. These skills might not be sounding very cool, but believe me, these are super important to get rich. So let's just start understanding them one by one. Number 1, leverage. Give me a level long enough and a place to stand and I will move this world. This quote from Archimedes is so true that Naval has also used it while he was discussing about leverage. We have to use leverage as much as possible to get rich. If we won't apply leverage in our work, we will stay in the same place next year and few more years to come. But what does putting leverage actually means? It means when your input doesn't match your output. For example, I only have to work once to create these videos, right? But now when it is on the internet, it can see by people like you anytime, anywhere, whether I'm sleeping or working on something else. So the internet is a leverage to me. And that is the same thing Naval has also told in his podcast. The internet has massively broadened the possible space of careers. Most people haven't figured this out yet. You see, there are 2 kinds of leverage. First is the old leverage, which includes labor and capital. And the second is the new leverage, which includes code and media. Old leverage were good for the last century, the generation of the industrial age. The main reason why old leverage wouldn't work for us today is because it is a permission leverage, which means you need someone else's permission to use this kind of leverage. For example, you want to open a factory. Now you need a massive amount of capital and there should be someone who has to give it to you. Or you want to be a leader and make people work for you, which is labor. Now you need people who have to follow you. And as you could understand, getting this kind of leverage is so hard, at least when you are just getting started. Because we have nothing right now, no money, no power, no network, we are just starting from zero. So if we want to get rich in today's world, we have to use the new form of leverage. There is no way around except that. You can use code or media like this that work for you while you sleep. The best thing about the new form of leverage is it is completely permissionless. I mean, what do you need to host a site or launch an app? Just a decent computer and an internet connection, right? Or let's say you want to shoot videos like this. Just turn on your phone camera and start recording. That's it. You really don't need anyone's permission to start using this massively powerful leverage. Now, money can also be a good form of leverage if you can convert that into wealth building assets, which earn while you sleep. Naval has started his Twitter thread with these 2 most powerful tweets. Number 1, seek wealth, not money or status. And number 2, you won't get rich renting out your time. Most people spend their entire life chasing the next big thing, the status that could potentially increase their rank in the social hierarchy. But very few people create wealth for themselves and for their generations to come. And you can only generate wealth if you own some income generating asset or equity in a business, not by renting out your time, because we all have limited amount per day to work. By the way, if you want to know more about assets and wealth creation, next you could watch my video on Rich Dad Poor Dad book, which is a must read book for every one of you. For now, let's just move to the next skill. Number 2, specific knowledge. Specific knowledge is something that you can't be trained for, because if society can train you, it can train someone else and replace you. So understand this basic rule of specific knowledge, that it can't be trained directly to anyone. But then the question arises, then how we can get to know about our specific knowledge? So here Naval said, specific knowledge can be found by pursuing your genuine curiosity, which means specific knowledge is something that you're naturally good at. It would be something that looks like a hectic work to others but feels like play to you. So try to find your specific knowledge, and remember, it could be anything that is highly technical or creative. And if you are unable to find your specific knowledge, then there is a way, or I would say there is an only way to gain specific knowledge. It is through apprenticeship. Means learn something by actually doing it, not just hearing it from anyone. Because doing is always faster than watching. If you want to gain programming knowledge or you want to learn Google Ads, there is an only way you can do that. It is by actually practicing it yourself. Then point out your mistakes and errors and try to fix it in the next time. Based on this theory, Naval has also said one more thing, which I think is interconnected. That is, there is no actual skill called business. So avoid business schools and magazines. Yes, it is true, right? Because if specific knowledge can only build through by actually doing it, then you can't just learn how to run a business without even starting one yourself. And any business is being run through two different things. First, build the product or service, and number 2, selling it to the public. And that's where Naval said, learn to sell, learn to build. And if you can do both, you will be unstoppable. In short, you would say specific knowledge is your experience of doing any task, which is completely specific to you. Because what you have experienced by doing a thing can be completely different from the person who end up doing the same thing you have done. And as profound as your specific knowledge will be, that much you become non-replaceable. If you are getting value out of this content, make sure to subscribe and turn on the notification button to not miss any more valuable content from my side, and every thumbs up and share would be highly appreciated. Thank you. Number 3, accountability. Do you know the best way to get the most leverage out of anything? Well, Naval said to embrace accountability to get leverage. Accountability, in simple terms, responsibility is what you need to take to get the most leverage. It is kind of similar to Stan Lee's quote from Spider-Man comic books. With great power, there must also come great responsibility. We all want to take credits of our success, but no one wants to take the blame of the failure. It's not right. We have to take everything under our own name. Naval said, people who can fail in public have a lot of power. One more thing Naval has explained in a great detail, that is, accountability is your reputational skin in the game. We all should have skin in the game. This concept is taken from Nassim Nicholas Taleb's book Skin in the Game, which means to be directly involved in or affected by something, especially financially. Let's make it more practical to understand. In a company, skin in the game means the equity of that business. If you don't have that, suppose you are an employee, don't worry, if the company falls down tomorrow, you will not get affected by any means. No one gonna blame you for anything, or you will end up getting another job. But only if tomorrow the company gets 10x profit or they get public, similarly, you will not get any piece of pie from that huge cake, because you don't have any skin in the game, which was equity. I hope you understood. Now, accountability also means taking care of different accounts. Like Naval said, you should set an aspirational hourly rate for yourself and outsource tasks that cost less than your hourly rate. For example, your hourly rate is $10 and you have to create a YouTube thumbnail which roughly takes you an hour. Now, you should look for a designer who could create better thumbnail than you in $5. And if you will able to find one, outsource the task to him right away. That's how you could focus on more important tasks that can't be done without you. One more area where Naval recommends must follow accountability, which is the work you are doing and who you are working with. He said, work as hard as you can, even though what you are working on and who you are working with is more important. You see, today there is rarely be someone who is not working hard. Everyone is working hard, and it may sound a little counterintuitive, but the people who are working the hardest is the poorest ones. So it is no longer about how hard you work. Now it is more important who you work with, and most important what you are working on. Number 4, judgment. Judgment is the decisive skill. Naval explained it something like, in an age of nearly infinite leverage, judgment is the most important skill. It simply shows your ability to take the right decisions. If you are more like a judgmental person, then you would make fewer wrong decisions, which will make you more successful in the long term. Political leaders, CEOs, investors are some of the people who have high judgment. Even their one small decision could affect so many people's life. That's why having right judgment is critical. And judgment needs experience. Without experience, judgment is often less than useless. So try to take as many decisions in your life as possible regarding every aspect of your life. Study, career, business, relationships, and build your judgment strong. You might often see when the news spread out that Sir Warren Buffett gonna invest in a particular company and everyone just rushes away to buy that company stock. Do you know the reason why this happens? It is because everyone values his judgment. One thing Naval highly told us to notice is that people who has the best judgment are the least emotional. It is so true. Our emotions shouldn't affect our judgment. Most of the time we take any decision based on our emotions, which we later regret. So try to eliminate your emotion factor from your decision making as much as possible. We need very good judgment while we are choosing our business partner. Naval said, pick business partner with intelligence, energy, and overall integrity. Integrity is something that someone does despite what they say they do. So your business partner should have integrity. And always partner with rational optimists. Don't partner with pessimists and cynics, cause their desires are self-fulfilling always. Number 5, lifelong learning. Read what you love until you love to read. You see, learning is a lifelong process. But our education system has taught us to complete a certain degree and our education will be over. Then we never have to read books again. And it is completely wrong mindset in today's rapidly changing world where new piece of information are coming in the speed of light. So you have to stay updated all the time. And you not only should know your own field, you should have little knowledge about everything. As Naval said, you should able to pick up any book in the library and read it. Don't fear any book. And he also said, today the means of learning are abundant, but the desire to learn is scarce. Okay, so now let me share some important learnings from this podcast. Number 1, there are no get rich quick schemes. Those are just someone else getting rich off of you. Number 2, anyone advising on how to get rich should have made their money elsewhere. Number 3, making money isn't about luck, just becoming the kind of person who makes money. Number 4, anyone can be rich. Number 5, you can't penny pinch your way to wealth. Number 6, people who live below their means have freedom. Number 7, the most dangerous things are heroin and monthly salary. Very addictive. Number 8, give society what it wants but doesn't yet know how to get at scale. Number 9, play long-term games with long-term peoples, because all returns in life comes from compound interest in long-term games. Number 10, when you are finally wealthy, you will realize it wasn't what you were seeking in the first place. This book, The Almanac of Naval Ravikant by Eric Jorgensen, is epic. I have been reading this book for more than a year now, and you can't believe every time I read it, I find something new and interesting. By the way, if you also like reading books, then my friend, you can create a great business around it. Wanna know them how? Then click on this video. Alright, I hope you gain some value out of this video. By the way, thanks for watching it and I would love to see you again.